The movie begins in a strange forest in the west of Ireland. The forest doesn't appear on any map, and people are known to go missing here. Rumor has it that the forest lures in lost travelers and never lets them leave. Right now, John is sprinting through it, desperately searching for a way out before nightfall. His watch has stopped, the paths keep looping back to the same spot, and signs reading "Point of No Return" appear everywhere, each with a different number etched onto it. Suddenly, a flock of birds erupts overhead. John looks up and realizes it's already night. Panicking, he climbs a tree to hide, but the branch snaps and he falls. Shaken, he reaches for the knife in his bag, but before he can draw it, a strange creature emerges from the darkness and drags him away. Meanwhile, in the city, an American immigrant and artist named Mina works at a pet store. One afternoon, her boss tells her a rare bird needs to be transported to a zoo in Belfast and asks her to take it there. Mina names the bird Darwin and brings him home. She tells him it's the 15th anniversary of her mother's death, and she plans to go out that night to forget. She puts on a wig, heads to a bar under a fake name, Carolina, and tells a man she meets that she's a dancer. The next morning, she jokingly asks Darwin not to judge her, admitting she likes pretending to be someone else because she doesn't think the real her is likable. Mina heads out for the long drive to Belfast, stopping only for gas. Along the way, her twin sister calls, but Mina ignores it and listens to the voicemail instead. Her sister scolds her for skipping their mother's memorial again and says that after 15 years, Mina needs to stop running from her family. Still avoiding the issue, Mina drives on, unaware of the large sign filled with missing person flyers posted near the forest she's about to enter. Minutes later, she's deep inside the woods without realizing it. Her phone and car radio begin to glitch, and then her car suddenly breaks down, leaving her stranded. She steps out and notices a point of no return sign, thinking it means someone must live nearby. Mina returns to the car to grab her bag and Darwin, then begins wandering into the trees, calling out for help. Nothing happens, so Mina decides to turn back. When she looks behind her, the car is gone. She has no choice now but to keep walking and hope she finds a way out. When night comes, a swarm of birds suddenly flies over her. She hears strange noises and then spots an old woman running through the trees. Desperate, Mina chases her and watches the woman slip into a small building. The woman shouts at her to get inside if she wants to live. Mina rushes in and the woman slams the door immediately. Mina finds two more people already there. The old woman introduces herself as Madeline, and the others as Sierra and Daniel. They call this place the Coop and they explain that they were trapped in the forest too. They pull Mina toward a mirrored window while Madeline explains that the creatures outside are called the Watchers. They come every night to stare at them through the glass, and they leave again in the morning. Madeline tells Mina to step closer. When she does, the Watchers can be heard clapping as if they are welcoming her to their show. Later, Mina sits in front of the mirrored window and thinks about her mother. In the morning, she leaves the coop despite the others warning her not to. As she walks through the woods, she hears her name being whispered. She sees a girl in the distance who asks her why she did that. Terrified, Mina runs until she reaches the top of a hill. From there, she sees that the forest stretches endlessly in every direction. When she returns, Madeline tells her that they have all tried to escape, but no one has ever made it out. The forest causes hallucinations and can drive people insane. The signs she saw earlier are placed in a circle around the forest, each one about half a day from the coop. They act as a boundary. Anyone who crosses them never comes back. These landmarks were created by someone called the Professor. With no real choice left, Mina returns to the coop with the others. In the evening, Daniel gives a short speech to announce that Mina is back on the show, and Sierra plays music so she can dance for the Watchers. They find some old DVDs from a reality show, so Mina watches them to keep herself busy, and she notices the Professor's name on the back of the box. The next morning, the group goes out to look for food, and Sierra teaches Mina how to spot medicinal plants. She also mentions that Daniel gets headaches a lot and that, according to her husband John, Daniel likes her. John left 6 days ago, and they still haven't heard from him. Sierra also shares Madeline's idea that seeing a Watcher can drive a person crazy. She then shows Mina a burrow and explains that there are many of them throughout the forest. They connect underground in a tunnel system and the Watchers hide there during the day. Mina is shocked when Sierra admits that she and John have been here for about 5 months, even though she lost track of time. Later at lunch, Madeline teaches Mina the survival rules. They must never turn their backs to the mirror, never open the door after dark, never go near the burrows and always stay in the light. The three of them recite the rules together in a creepy way. As the days go by, Mina keeps herself busy watching the reality show and sketching in her notebook. At night, she stares at the mirror and hears noises outside, but she still doubts anything is out there. One night, she goes to bed too early, and the creatures start roaring outside, so Madeline makes her stare at the mirror until the noise stops. Sometime later, Daniel checks their animal traps and mentions he used to hunt with John. Mina goes with him and keeps seeing the little girl in the forest. Daniel explains that Madeline used to be a university teacher, which is why she acts like she knows everything. He has been here 8 months, and Mina finds it strange that he has never seen a watcher. Both of them admit they doubt Madeline's story. Mina then suggests going into a burrow, even though Daniel is scared. Holding a rope for her, Daniel lowers Mina into the burrow while she looks around with a lighter. She finds a bunch of abandoned objects, including a newspaper from 1992, a video camera, and a plush rabbit. She also finds a bicycle and sends it up to Daniel with the rope. Right then she hears a strange sound in the dark. Mina calls out to Daniel, but he doesn't answer. A moment later, a hand with 6 fingers slowly reaches out of the darkness while speaking in a strange language. Mina screams and Daniel finally sends the rope back down. Later Mina shows Sierra and Madeline everything she found. She lies and says she found it under a big rock. Mina thinks the bicycle could help them escape, but Madeline disagrees and notices that Mina looks shaken. She keeps asking what Mina saw, but Mina won't say. Meanwhile, Daniel connects the camera to the coop's power source and says the professor must have installed it when he built the place. He connects the TV as well, so they now have a basic surveillance setup. That night, the group sits at the table waiting for something to appear on the screen. Madeline tells Mina she knows she broke the rules and asks her to tell the truth, but Mina stays quiet. Suddenly, Sierra hears a noise and a pair of legs appear on the camera. Someone knocks on the door and they hear John's voice. Sierra is thrilled to hear her husband, who begs them to let him in. Madeline immediately forbids it and reminds her that the watchers can copy voices to trick them. John keeps begging and says he is hurt. A tense argument starts, and Madeline pushes Mina and Daniel to admit they messed with a burrow. They finally say they did. Sierra still wants to help her husband, so Madeline tells her to ask him something only he would know. Sierra asks what book she is reading and John can't answer, even though they bought it together. Still hoping it is really him, Sierra asks John to show his face on the camera. John suddenly appears on the screen and asks for help before he is dragged away. Something then hits the camera and breaks it. The group runs to stand in front of the mirror while the furious watcher outside slams the glass over and over until it cracks. Madeline informs them that if the glass breaks, that means they are dead. Then, a moment later, the entire place goes still. The next morning, Madeline throws the bicycle back into the burrow to try to calm the watchers. Mina promises she is done breaking the rules. In the burrow, the bicycle is pulled back into the darkness. A flashback shows a young Mina in the car with her sister and their mother, and we see that the little girl in the forest looks like the twins did at that age. Mina kept playing with the car window and ignoring her mother's warnings. Her mom tried to force the window shut and accidentally caught Mina's fingers. Mina screamed, which distracted her mom and caused the crash. Back in the present, Mina keeps sketching the signs she's observed so far and saying the forest is getting into her head. She marks the trees she has already checked. Weeks pass and everyone starts losing hope, and their patience wears thin. Mina overhears Madeline yelling at Daniel because he has not caught any food in a long time, and they might starve. Inside the coop, Sierra tunes out the arguments by watching the reality show while Mina doodles on the floor. When Mina turns around, she suddenly notices Sierra is gone. She runs into the forest and finds Sierra standing at the edge of a burrow, thinking about ending her life to be with John again. They hear a scream and follow the sound until they find Daniel tying up Madeline. Madeline says Daniel has lost his mind, but Daniel insists that they are following his rules now and runs back to the coop. Sierra chases after him, but Mina stays behind to free Madeline. They both rush back to the coop only to find the door locked. Birds start circling above them, so they run and hide inside one of the traps. The trap smells rotten, but the stink might hide their scent. While Sierra and Daniel stand in front of the mirror, a watcher appears above the trap where Mina and Madeline are hiding. It cannot detect them and runs toward the coop instead. It stands tall and roars, calling more watchers. When the creatures get too close to the coop, Daniel tells them that 2 people are missing. The watchers then leave to hunt for the missing women. With the area around the coop finally quiet, Mina and Madeline run to the door and beg Daniel to open it. Mina tells him the truth about how she caused her mother's death and how the guilt has followed her for years. She warns Daniel that he will carry the same pain if he lets them die. After a moment, the door opens and they rush inside before locking it again. Madeline immediately yells at Daniel and says she should have gotten rid of him months ago, but stopping the Watchers is more important now. The group stands in front of the mirror while Madeline explains her past. She said she has never lied to them and only hid the truth to protect them. She used to teach folklore and mythology. She came to the forest for research, and on her first night here, she saw a Watcher that looked like a twisted version of herself. She says these creatures appear in old stories under many names, like changelings and fairies. They watch humans to study them and eventually try to become them. Suddenly, a Watcher begins knocking on the door and copies Sierra's voice to beg for help. More Watchers climb over the coop, using the group's voices to trick them into opening the door. The group pushes a table against the entrance. In the chaos, Sierra hears a strange sound and notices a square shape under the carpet on the floor. As the Watchers grow more violent outside, Daniel hits the square until it pops open, revealing a hidden bunker. They all climb down, with Darwin jumping in last and slamming the hatch shut just before the Watchers break into the coop. When they turn on the lights, they realize they have found the professor's old workspace. It is filled with files, books, and enough food to last them a long time. There is also an old computer with no internet, but Mina discovers a series of video diary entries from 2009. In the first video, Professor Rory talks about how fascinated he is by the creatures watching him through the window. Each entry shows him slipping further into madness. He eventually reveals that the workers he hired to build the coop were killed by the Watchers every day. He says the coop was built on the blood of innocent people. In another entry, he explains that a Watcher appeared to him as a little girl, and he wonders if humans could use that ability. The next video shows that Rory managed to capture a Watcher and tried to reason with it, but the creature was furious. The last video was recorded on day 300. In it, Rory admits he has given up. He plans to kill the Watcher he captured and then end his own life, but before he does, he leaves a message for anyone who finds the tapes. He explains that he left a boat on the river past sign 134, and that the way to reach it is to follow the birds. He also asks the viewer to go to his university office and destroy everything he left behind. Mina cries as she listens to the gunshots in the recording. The group decides they will leave on the boat in the morning. Sierra puts on some music to celebrate. She tries to get Daniel to dance, but he becomes sad and admits he got lost in the forest after running away from his abusive father. Sierra promises he can live with her once they escape, and they share a hug. The next morning, the group climbs out of the bunker and sees that the Watchers have destroyed the mirror. They follow the marks Mina left on the trees until they reach sign 134. There, they set Darwin free and follow him deeper into the forest. Eventually, they reach a stone marker. Madeline explains that this is where fairies were once imprisoned after losing a war against humans. Since then, they have tried to return, but they lost their wings and their magic, and now they cannot stand the sunlight. As they keep moving, Mina continues seeing the little girl in the distance. Soon it starts to rain and the birds circle above them, a sign that night is coming. The Watchers begin to close in, so the group runs until they finally reach the river. The women manage to climb into the boat, but as they try to push off, Sierra realizes Daniel is missing. Moments later, Daniel appears, dragging John toward the shore. Sierra tries to warn him that it is not really John, but it is too late. The fake John changes shape and kills Daniel with its claws. After that, its body goes blank and it transforms. More Watchers gather on the shore and watch the three women as they row away. Madeline tells them not to be scared because Watchers cannot leave the forest. By morning, the women and Darwin reach a bridge. They climb onto it and wait until a bus comes by. The driver lets them on, and they are finally able to relax on the way back to the city. Later, while Mina is in the shower, memories of her mother's death rush back. She remembers standing in the road and hearing her sister call out to her. "Why did you do that?" she said, revealing the scars on her face. The next day, Mina goes to the university to carry out Rory's final request. She pretends to be his niece so she can access his office. Inside, she finds the blueprint for the coop, an early draft of his research on the Watchers, and a tape recorder that explains his theories alongside an illustrated scroll. According to Rory, fairies once lived peacefully with humans. They were friends and sometimes even partners. Their relationships created half-blood children who could survive in sunlight, and Rory believed these children might still be living among humans today. Mina then notices a large piece of artwork on the wall and discovers a set of photographs hidden behind it. What she sees leaves her stunned. That evening, she visits Sierra and shows her the photos, revealing that Madeline had been Rory's wife. The real Madeline died in 2001 from lung cancer. Mina suggests that Rory tried to use the Watcher he captured to bring his wife back, and that the creature eventually took on Madeline's identity. Just then a car pulls up outside and the real Sierra walks in. This means the Madeline they knew has been pretending to be Sierra to trick Mina. As soon as Sierra steps into the house, the Watcher crawls across the ceiling and shifts into John's form. It mimics his voice to distract Sierra and knocks her unconscious. Mina tries to escape but the Watcher catches her. It throws her around the room while complaining about humans, then shifts into Daniel's form. A mirror breaks as Mina falls and she grabs a shard to defend herself, but the Watcher drags her across the floor and thanks her for helping it escape the forest. The creature finally steps outside while wearing Madeline's form. It tells Mina that it always wanted to leave the forest because the other Watchers mocked it for being able to walk in the sun. They called it a day walker because of its deformity. When the professor first entered the forest, the creature went to him, hoping he would help it escape. But Rory betrayed it and tried to shoot it. However, the Watcher killed him first. In a matter of seconds, the creature shifts into Rory's shape and then into Mina's. It grabs the real Mina by the neck, ready to kill her and take her body. Mina quickly says that Rory had a secret, and the Watcher lets her go so she can explain. She tells it about the half-bloods and how many of them are still hiding in the world. She also explains that while the Watcher was living as Madeline, it felt jealousy and anger, which means it carries human blood too. Mina tells it that she knows what it feels like to be seen as a monster. "You don't know me," the Watcher says, and its body expands to reveal wings. It flies onto the roof and tells Mina it hopes she's right about there being more of its kind before it disappears into the sky. After it leaves, Mina checks on Sierra, who is thankfully still alive. Later on, Mina visits her sister and her nieces to reconnect. She finally talks about what happened in the forest and admits she sometimes feels like the Madeline Watcher is still out there, hiding in crowds and watching her. It takes different shapes, but the one she sees most often is a little girl with red hair. Back at the window, Darwin looks out at the street and the Watcher silently looks back at him. That's a wrap on our breakdown of the 2024 movie, The Watchers. What do you think about this movie? Drop your thoughts and reactions in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss one of our thrilling movie analyses and deep dives. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay tuned for more edge-of-your-seat content.